Hey guys, this is Ashley with Notions and Findings, and I just wanted to show y'all how to do this cup here with the smoky effect and alcohol inks. Okay, to get started, we just need a tumbler that you have spray painted white. I use flat, and also I will be using an arm. Now, you will also need a lighter and a candle and a fork. Make the fork one you just don't really plan to ever use again to eat with. But anyway, I use this old candle. It's got an old wick in it that just kind of has a lot of buildup on the end, which creates more smoky effects. So, all right, to get started, you go ahead and get your flame going. You have your fork there, ready to rock and roll. Now, to get a good smoke accumulation, you want to really put your fork down in that flame. Now, I went ahead and saw that I'm creating some pretty good smoke, so I will now put my tumbler over that. You really try to connect the smoke coming up to your tumbler. Now, the closer you are to the flame, the darker your smoke will be on your cup, and kind of the further away you are, the less you'll have. So remember that with different, designs that you're going to be doing. Now with this cup in particular, I just kind of want more of a steam look. Like it's coming off of a cup of coffee. So I'm just kind of more focusing on the top part because that goes better with my particular decal that I will be using. But again, just whatever your preference is. I would recommend if you're going to be using like a water slide, a clear water slide, just be mindful to not get it too dark in the area that you will be applying the water slide. But anyway, this is what I've come up with so far, and I think I like it. Just kind of nothing too much. Next, we'll move on to our alcohol inks. I'm going with inks that will match my books and my decal, but you can really use whichever you want. And also, you will need some canned air. I've had this canned air probably 5 years, so no preference to, brand or anything. I will advise you to use in a well ventilated area. Canned air can kind of make you a little lightheaded if you inhale that too much. But we're going to start out with the yellow here. Just place a little drop on the bottom, maybe, and hold your tumbler level, like just kind of straight across horizontally. That'll help with it, wanting to run around the cup on you. It's a little race, but just do maybe starting out if you're not real familiar with using alcohol inks, just start out with a little drop and spray that and just kind of see how that does until you get the feel of it. See, it's kind of running away from me a little bit there, but I make it work. You have make it work moments in tumbling, that's for sure. But anyway, just work yourself around the cup. I always start with my lighter color of inks and work my way to the most dominant. Now with these particular colors that I'm using today, the browns and the purples are going to be used last just because they're really dominant and kind of take over if you don't watch out. So be careful with that. But like I said, I'm kind of going from yellow to now my red, pink color. Or no, that's red. Now my blue. Blue's a little on the dominant side too, but it really is a beautiful color, especially mixed in with others. You can kind of see that you're getting a marbly look on the very, very bottom, which is something I personally like. So I like a mix of both, and it's hard to not get that marble at the very bottom. So it's okay. I had a little boo-boo there, but I will fix that later. But just continue on around, and you want it to be abstract and, you know, nothing too, I don't know how to explain it. You just want it to be, you know, where it's just abstract. You don't want it the same way all the way around. So, if you have different, more of a heavier purple on one side than the other, or more of a yellow on one side, that's okay. Just work with it. It'll be pretty. Makes it different and adds character. You can even go up a little bit higher if you want in some spots. Like, see kind of what we've got going there with the purple. But that's what makes the cup look really different and be eye-catching. Okay, looks like we're about done with our cup. I love the bottom. Always pay attention to your bottom. Gives it a finished look, a professional look. Love the spray up that we achieved with all these different colors, especially the purple. That yellow there, that will be fixed. Just spray it with glitter sealer and then allow that to dry, and then spray it with white, and that will cover it. And then we'll put some more smoke on it to tie it all in. Okay, I've got that part fixed. Now we're just going to spray it to seal the smoke soot with clear glaze, triple thick by Krylon. You can buy that at Walmart. And just give it a good spray and let it dry. Also, be sure and wear your mask, your PPE. Take care of your lungs and everything. Be careful with epoxy. It's got fumes. But my preference is Amazing Clear Cast. I also buy that at Hobby Lobby or Michael's. Then we'll be using a medicine cup to measure out exact equal parts of part A and part B. You want equal so that they combine and make a good solution. If you don't get it exact, you'll have all kinds of problems. We won't cure, and your cup will just kind of be a mess on you. So be sure and get your measurements as correct as possible. And you're going to stir it together. I've sped it up here, but you want to go a little slower. Watch for air bubbles. But you want to stir until it's clear. Now time for application. Now I want to apologize. My hand is in the way in this first part. But you can kind of get the idea of kind of what I'm doing there with the top. You just want to dip your finger in and just get you a good amount. And just work your way all around the cup. Have good coverage. Try to avoid, leaving any spaces undone. And I'm just trying to get a good base and a good cure down so that I can then move on to doing my water slide. You want to be sure and get your bottom. Don't forget that. And just work your way around. And I do this at the very end just to kind of tie it all together and make sure I've got good coverage. And then just allow this to spin for about 6 to 8 hours before you move on to doing your water slide decal. Okay, next up, after we've got it fully cured, is to go ahead and put our water slide on. Now I've got a pan of water. Try to have it room temperature. This is my decal of choice. And I've got it printed on clear water slide paper. And I have sprayed it, after I've printed it on my regular printer, my inkjet printer, I take it out and I spray it with triple thick Krylon and let it dry fully. I do that probably 2 or 3 times. And now, after it's dry, I submerge it in water here, and you just kind of let it set in completely covered until you can kind of move it off of the white backing there. And then I get my surface I also wet it down so that it can I can slide it around and place it just where I'd like it. But then you just set it on, set the backing and all on. Kind of have it slid off the backing just a little bit so you have something to grab a hold of so you can pull that white backing off. And now I just work with it and get all the water bubbles and air bubbles and, you know, any weird things that want to get stuck underneath there. Now this tool here you can find at almost any Dollar Tree stores, and it'll be over in the cosmetics. It's just a silicone, I think it's for makeup application, but it works wonderfully for this. It helps to really smooth it out and get all those bubbles out from underneath it, and really makes it adhere very well. So I highly recommend one of those. And we've got the front done. Now we're going to move on to the name. I just went ahead and did a water slide for the name in a kind of a typewriter font. And I'm going to kind of figure out my placement. I wanted it to be in a area directly kind of opposite of the book decal, just so that everything's kind of symmetrical there, since everything's not so symmetrical on the bottom. And again, kind of checking to see if it will slide, and it will. It's kind of slid off just a little. Again, be careful with it and take your time. This is sped up just a little bit, and now I'm kind of playing with the placement of it. I want to make sure I get it as straight as possible. Using my silicone brush tool. Go ahead and pick you up 2 or 3, because if you're like me, you're going to lose one. But they're really handy when it comes to water slides. And there we have it. I'm pleased with both. And here is our final product. This will be shipping out soon. Did add a little bit of glitter to the final coat of epoxy and really like how it looks. Be sure to subscribe for more videos.